My father writes to my mother. Asia Jabar is the pen name of Fatima Zora Emalayan. She was an Algerian novelist, translator, and filmmaker. She was known for writing about feminism, and this short story is an autobiographical story by Jabar. The story illustrates the relationship between her father and her mother as different from others in the village. The story begins with the narrators explaining how all the women in the town, including her mother, call their husbands using the pronoun him. This form of speech was characteristic of every married woman from 15 to 60, and that would change into Hajj if he undertook a pilgrimage to Mecca. The narrator's mother had gradually started to learn French in order to converse with wives of her husband's colleagues, thereby leading her to call her husband by his first name, which was a daring innovation among her Arabic community. But when elderly female relations were present, the mother would once more use the traditional formalities because freedom of language would have appeared insolent to the ears of the pious old ladies. Whenever the narrator's mother called her father Tahir, which means pure, his memory would pop up in the narrator's mind. During the conversations, the narrator's mother would bring up the father's name so that she stood out above the rest. The narrator describes an uncommon event of their family in their entire community. That is, the father writes to the mother. He sends a postcard with a short greeting. He would not have dared to write any intimate sentences like, I'm thinking of you or yours affectionately. So he addressed her as Madam, followed by her name. Now, this was an unusual act in their society because the men who sent postcards used vague periphrases such as the household instead of their wife's name. When the narrator's relatives heard about how the father had written to the mother in person, addressing her name, they considered it as a shame. This postcard was a most daring manifestation of affection. The mother was secretly flattered. This exchange of letters created a hope in the growing narrator's mind about the possible happiness in the union of man and woman. The short story concludes when the narrator's joyous remark on how her father and mother broke the stereotype of the society. The narrator's father had dared to write to her mother, and her mother called the father by his name. This sharing of letters and calling the husband by his name gave them freedom for openly showing their affection, thereby teaching their children how to respect each other in a relationship.